10% from a year ago, matching growth in the first 3 months of this year. Again, the first 3 months of this year, that was still the slowest since 2009. And that slowdown certainly having an effect on the luxury industry and brands, just like the British brand Burberry. They're feeling the squeeze. So let's get more. Nick Hood is business risk advisor at Opus Restructuring and joins us. Nick, always good to have you with us in the studio. I mean, you know, we've talked about luxury brands connected with China. China slows. The Chinese are cracking down on gift giving, things like that. And so with a slowdown and what's happening with the Chinese stock markets at the moment, you can only imagine Chinese people are spending less on luxury brands. And needless to say, that has an impact on Burberry.
And it has a major impact in one specific way, because their big Asian focus is actually Hong Kong. Huge amount of their trading is done in Hong Kong, and many fewer mainland Chinese are going to Hong Kong. Political uncertainty, demos, and a lot of hostility from the locals to mainland Chinese. So their trading has dropped by double-digit percentage in Hong Kong in the first quarter, which is huge.
That is huge. I mean, that you can't sustain those sort of. So what's the strategy then? I mean, if you've got a slowing Asia, do they look at other emerging markets? What do they do?
Well, I mean, the issue for them is they need a certain demographic to tap into. China had this vastly, vast and heavily growing, rich middle class, more billionaires than you could shake a stick at.
And they like to spend splash the cash, though, right?
They do, but even so, you see, mainland China is slowing as far as Burberry is concerned. They're in Japan, which is growing very fast, but it's such a low base that, you know, Asia Pacific is 40% of Burberry sales. 40%. It has been for years. So a hiccup there is a major problem. This is not a crisis for Burberry, but it
40% sounds like. That would sound like a crisis to me, or the inkling of it.
There's a lot to Asia Pacific. Sure. I mean, there's Australia, although things ain't going terribly well in Australia, as you may well know.
Yeah.
But even so,
China.
well, that and many and mining and commodities and various other things. Retail economy is very bad in Australia. So they have some challenges. It is not a crisis, but it certainly looks like a major, a significant correction for them.
Okay, and a significant challenge for the boss, who's not been the boss that long, right? A couple of years, I think, is it now?
That's right.
And last year, 52% of Burberry shareholders voted against the pay package that the board wanted to give to the boss, but I think he got it, right? So we're talking about $1.5 million in pay, $2.5 million bonus, and nearly $1 million in allowances and benefits. When you've got falling sales, okay, maybe out of his hands, but he's got to justify that sort of salary.
Well, absolutely right, and you know, it's what happens when the board agrees to write a cheque to the CEO that's bigger than anything they'd put in the design of one of their coats. It's a big issue, and it's just not clever to give investors the impression that a $2.5 billion turnover business is a lifestyle business for its CEO.
Yeah, I've got to wrap this up, but just very quickly, does Burberry need to come out with something?
No, I think it needs to accept the fact that growth will be slower. It has grown steadily. It will just grow less well for a couple of years. Who knows beyond that?
Okay, Nick, always great stuff. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Nick Hood joining us there. So lots going on. Follow me on Twitter. Tweet me. I'll tweet you right back. You can get me at BBC Aaron Luce. That's it with the biz. I'll talk to you soon.
Great, Aaron. Thanks so much. Do stay with us here on BBC World News. Still to come, in the latest of our series on the Muslim month of Ramadan, we join a Pakistani family for the evening meal to open their fast.
Do you think about your mum and dad?
Yeah, I love my mum and dad.
Kötü bir düşünce yoktu böyle.
Kabullenemiyoruz bir daha böyle gelmeyecek.
Bulunduğu rahat zaman niye de ne?
Our World is a unique series of films on the BBC, offering personal insights into global events.
It's felt things it's never felt before.
Personas que a lo mejor por fuera no tuvieron la oportunidad.
Our World, stories that speak for themselves.
On Outside Source, I'll pull together the news as it happens, combining every available source to bring you the latest on the big stories around the world. Through the screen, I can instantly show you all the reports, live feeds and footage coming into the newsroom here in London, and I can connect you to our correspondents around the world. Hi, Lise.
Hello, Roz.
And while we're on air, we're also on social media looking for your questions and your contributions, as well as the latest information on the stories that we're covering. And if a story breaks, you'll get the latest information as we do. So join me for news as it happens, Outside Source, live on BBC World News.
So finally, there's a deal on Greece's debt, but there's still a long way to go. Can the Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras get it through Parliament, and can and will the Greek people go along with it? Join me, Tim Wilcox, live in Athens for all the latest developments here on BBC World News.